is in purple, periwinkle, and sand gray.
What was that?
We want to put out dioxazine purple,
Yeah.
black purple mix we just made,
Yep.
sand gray,
Yep.
periwinkle.
Ooh, there. Okay.
So you can use, I'll have you watch up here. You can use either a flat shader, like a number 8 or a 1/4, or you could be using a chisel blender. Now, chisel blender is like a flat shader, only it's shorter in bristles. So they work better to blend your colors together. If you don't have one, you're just fine with your flat shader.
A 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch,
Yeah.
number 8, or a number 8, either one.
Okay.
So we're going to take our 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're going to take, this is a periwinkle is going to be what I'm calling my light color. So I'm going to put my light color along the top of these petals. This is, I'm going to show you 2 choices of ways to do this, guys.
Oh.
You do that, then I'll pick up dioxazine purple. And I'll come and base coat the bottom section and work it up into here. Work it up into here, and dioxazine purple, work it and blend it up into here. That's that. Your other option, I'll go to another flower, and I'm going to do it in those kind of same colors, is I would double load my brush. I find it a lot quicker and easier to do the double load. So I'm going to do this one down here. Okay, so these are the 2 back petals. And I'm going to take, and I've double loaded it. I start with my light along the top, and I just blend my way back. I'm just double load, blending base coat. So rather than just base coat the brush, I just, see how I just pat it in? That's base coating my petal. It's a little bit bright here. I don't know where that is. No, I started looking for it earlier. No, it's not. I started looking for it earlier, so I'd be ready, of course. I gotta open. No, I gotta brighten. No, darken. There, I think that's better. Okay, so you can see the contrast a bit better there. So you see how I have the dark, and it makes no difference where you put what flowers. So here's one that's just buds. So my brush is double loaded, still in those same colors. So these are my background petals. So for the same flower here, I'm going to take the same 2 colors, dioxazine purple and periwinkle, double load. And now instead of having the dark in the middle, see how what I'm calling the light being the periwinkle is to the outside of my petals? Now I'm going to put it that the dark The dioxazine purple is to the outside of my petals. So I'm just going to double load these coat with the dark to the outside. And you just blend that in so that it works its way up and fills in the spot. So now I have the dark is to the outside and the light is to the inside. It's opposite of the top. So say for this one here, I'm going to switch it all up. I'm going to go with sand gray and periwinkle. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put the sand gray to the outside. Now for these bigger petals, right now I'm trying to do this with my 8 and it's a bit small. So for the bigger, these are small, all the buds are small. But for the bigger petals, I'm going to a 3/8 or a 10. And again, if you have chisel blenders, fine. And if not, your regular flat brushes. So you see how I'm keeping the light to the outside and I'm following my lines. Like I've got these little where the petals go in and out, and I'll come over here. And when I switch sides like that, it's actually using the paint from the other side of my brush. So I come along and I'm going to paint and just work my way up. So there's the bottom petal. They don't look spectacular, but they're going to. You can swap colors around, and we have that black purple, we'll call it, or a dark purple. And I'm going to come over here. That dark purple, I want to have lots of it, please. So I'm going to blend with the dark to the outside. There we go. Flip the brush. So I'm going to blend with the dark to the outside and the light to the inside, the light being my periwinkle. So I leave it like that. And now I'll take, say, the same colors, dark and periwinkle. Now my periwinkle for the bottom sections will be on the outside. And just work my way, just base over, blend your way back up into there. It might look patchy or choppy. That doesn't matter. It's got such a glare on it here. Now I can't do anything about that except for if I tip it up. Do you see? So that takes the glare off. So all of our petals are going to be like that. One of the girls switched up hers and she went with dioxazine purple and the sand. And I hadn't done any of those in the original one. So I'll do that one here. And that one was really pretty. So that's the back petals. This one here has 2 sets of back petals. So as you're blending, sometimes it looks like a wiggled petal, you know, but it's not. And then I switch it around again, the dark to the inside. I have to talk to myself. Inside, Wendy. And the light to the outside. That one's pretty, eh? And here it looks dark, but it's actually even nicer when you put it on. And so you can choose what color your buds are going to be with, you know, you can say, well, whatever's on this brush right now, that's my bud. There's a few buds around, so you'll go ahead and put them all in. This is a different bud here. This one has, let me do him in this. I'm going in sand and the black purple. And this guy has background petals. Now, every single one of the ones Every one of the ones that I've done so far is different. I've just put different colors here, there, everywhere. So that would be the back buds. This is a bud that's basically almost open. Okay, so now his second row of petals is just along like that in front of it. And our leaves are going to come up in front of it. So he's the only one that's a double bud. So you're going to start base coating your flowers like that. Pick and choose your colors. You do want to change them here and there, but your goal is not to have every single flower different. You want to have, like, I've got this dioxazine purple and the periwinkle. Well, I'd like to have a couple of those in there. So I would go with, say, now this one. I can choose, I can flip it up and change it, where I have that one having the dioxazine purple to the inside on the top petals. I can still do that same color section and put the dark purple to the outside. And it's still going to tie the picture together because it's going to have a few of those. So you joined us, Brenda.
Yes, I did. My
Thank you,
brother.
Brenda.
Hi.
Hello, Brenda.
Hello there.
I'm going to take and I'm putting this one opposite of the guy up top, but he's in the same colors. So it's going to kind of tie my picture together nicely. If you have too much water on your brush, you'll see right through your flowers and have to do a second coat. Then that's what has happened with this guy. I've got too much water in my brush.
Teacher,
Yes,
could you demonstrate on my board?
sure, pass it over.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Brenda, don't smirk. Or a 3/8, which, okay, a number 8 or a quarter, or a 3/8 or a 10. Either one is fine for these. You might want your 8 for your little press and slide leaves. Now, we're going to double load, but we want more antique green than black brown. And make sure you don't have too much water in your brush, because that makes, antique green is very transparent to start with. So it's tough. So I'm gonna, let's see. I wish I could have stopped and looked for that friggin' thing.
This is on an angle brush as well.
No, a flat brush.
Oh, a flat. Okay.
Yeah, the others were a flat brush as well, not an angle.
Oh, well. Okay, flat. 3/8 flat.
Okay,
What number would a 3/8 be?
10.
10. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm double loading and I'm just patting in my leaves. I'm not doing a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And I just pat my way down the side. So it's what's called a double load base coat. And your pat base coating, so that you're not putting lots of pressure. Don't put lots of pressure on it. And these little press and slide guys go on your buds. So lots of paint, flatten it, blend a smidge on your palette, press and slide for these little ones, and press and slide for the little buds that go up. But any of the leaves like this, up, and I base coat my way down. So you're gonna have streaks. It's not, I don't know if they can see there. I zoomed it in, but then that didn't help. So I'm just following my leaf. Once I do a couple, you have two ways to go about it. You can take and shade afterwards, or after I've done a few, highlight afterwards, pardon me. I can take now on my dirty part of my brush and pick up a little bit of the matcha. Vicky, is that showing on the screen? So it's just to add a little bit of that matcha highlight. So you see it in your pictures. I don't want you to put it, and I'm using the dirty brush when I pick it up. So I've done like say 6 or 7 leaves, and then I'll add some highlight. And just a little here and there. It's not completely everywhere down. And then this guy has some little press and slides. I'll just throw those on. And over here, there's a couple. Put them on. More paint on my brush. This one's not showing for them. Now I'm over here. All of our leaves are done with this double load padding.
Oh my goodness.
If you like to do wiggle ones, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. Other leaves might point and stare, but it's okay. And you're not concerned if you happen to get, like some of the girls would say, oh, I've got some leaf on my flower. Well, that's good. That makes them look more realistic. But you see this last one I just put in there, there's way too much black brown on it. So when I reloaded, like I said earlier, more black green on your brush than black brown. But if you have ones like that, you can just slide down the middle of them with your chisel of your brush and kind of add a little vein on them. You're not going to go in there and put little lines and stuff, those kind of veins. But if you feel you've got too much there, you can go back in and do that. So now I'll add a little highlight with the matcha. But remember, it's not everywhere. And it should be on a dirty brush. So Heather, does your cousin paint?
Pardon me?
Does your cousin paint?
No.
You didn't tempt her?
No. She made me a beautiful t-shirt, though I'll have to show you. We're finding all these relatives from Ancestry.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Oh my gosh. So she made each of us a t-shirt with flowers and a family name.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, that's how I found out my mother-in-law is my cousin. And my husband is my cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. My kids are my cousins.
Oh, okay.
How redneck can you get?
My leaves are not looking like leaves.
All I said is that my mother-in-law should be getting me extra special presents because at Christmas and stuff, because I should have gone up on the list. One would think. And then didn't we end up finding out later on that my daughter-in-law Catherine is also related to us?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. So anyways, I sent her a thing and I said, guess who's our cousin Catherine? You. So she wrote right away, she messaged Scott to tell him that her and him are cousins. Eh? And she says, I messaged Scott and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I said, oh, don't worry, he treats all his cousins like that. Don't get upset.
God.
Because she knows he's a jerk when it comes to his cousins. He can't stand them. Of course, she's neither. It's very easy to overpower your green though with too much black brown. I'm sure you've all discovered that at some point.
Oh,
But it's such a beautiful combination for this piece.
I'm not even seeing my black brown.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. You may have to bring that up when you come to visit, Heather.
Can I come tonight?
Well, I think everybody's expecting a severe storm, eh? The last time you was out in a storm, it wasn't good.
Yeah, true.
So you stay home.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Whoops. I went like that, hit the eraser and flipped it over my shoulder and nobody knows. I'll find them later. I'm done. Good enough. All right. Ah, Lordy. Oh, no, I'm not done. I see another freaking line. Oh, there it is. Now, where was the line? Okay, so we've got some plate. We've got some place to blend on our palette. We're going to shade with our 1/4 inch. And what you're going to do is you're going to start shading with your, did you start recording, Vicki? Okay. You're going to start shading with your 1/4 inch. I'm going to lighten this a little bit for you. Okay. So I'll shade when I have a petal in behind another petal. I'll shade to enhance that. So do you know what I mean? Like that. So where we have, even on the buds, you can shade in behind your leaves like that. So once I've done that, you're going to take this dark black purple again, and I'm going to choose a few spots. So say there. I like to kind of go where the dents are. So by that, I mean, do you see where that petal just went in? And I'll do a little shading there. I'll come down here. And I can use my brush if I want and pull a few little grooves in if I want. Shade there. But I do not want you to pick up your brush and shade all the way around a petal. Yes, even though I said don't do it, some did it last night. So I'll do a little shading there. A lot of these ones along to separate don't end up showing afterwards because we're putting that black in. But it's on every petal.
So you're just separating the petals?
No, no. Yes, I am, but that's not just separating the petals. You see that I'm shading right here where I'm doing right now. That is not separating a petal. That's on where there's a dip.
Oh.
Let's see if I can zoom in more. Okay, that's gonna help. Okay, so what I mean here, I'm gonna go on this one that's right close up now. See right here? So watch where I'm going. There on that one. Maybe I'll do a little bit here. But you see, I don't come all the way down that petal. I'm just doing a little spot there. A little here.
Oh my
There.
goodness.
You want to put some shading with this dark purple on every petal, but you're just not going everywhere. So now look over at my picture that I've shaded on that you got in your little sample, and you can see them, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be putting some dark shading. We're going to be putting some light shading. But right now, we're just going to work on dark shading. And just don't overdo it and do it absolutely everywhere. Just little bits. You can go back and add more later. You can strengthen some up, which I'll show you. I will definitely pick a few spots and kind of strengthen them up. But this is going to enhance the flowers' ruffle. You know how the pansies are all ruffled? And now look at the difference just even from those pansies to like this one who has nothing on them. And this guy over here. So you're just, and if I want to make those petals separate and come down like that, just shade down there. So go ahead and start shading this dark on all of your petals. Doesn't matter what color you made it, you're shading this color on it. Even on the petals, I'm going to move my board here. Do you see this? Even on this petal that it was done with the dark, I still shade a little of the dark on it because it was blended and those colors work together, but now I'm shading them. So you still do a little of that shading on the flowers, on the petals that were that dark to start with. You would think, oh, I don't got a shade on there. That's what color that one is. But yes, go for it. So, and if you want to walk in a few shadows and make them come in a little further, that's good. Creep them in. Do the creep. And even on the light ones. Now I'm going to try and turn this again so that this guy's up here. Where is he? Ah, for fuck's sakes. I'm going to put it next door for crying out loud. I can't do it. You see, I can't shade it like that. Okay, so this guy who, hang on, I got to dry this stuff because I'm smudging everything. Now, this is a guy who's very, very light. And I'm still doing this real dark shading on it. Ah. Just a few spots here and there. And that's good. But you see how dark that is. It's total different colors than what you're really seeing on the screen, guys. But way more purple than it is blue. They were so purple, they looked like flats. Changed breed. I know. No, no. Like I say, I know, like they were blacker before. Our sand gray, we're going to float kind of almost, if you think, in between. And you can do a little pulling of a few in if you want.
Can't see it.
Oh, I try zooming up for you guys, but that's not working. I should just put it back out to normal.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember that I've got it zoomed.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have to see it from further away. That's all. Okay. So I have floated behind the camera scenes. This one. And now, see how I'll just put a little here and there. And you're not loading a lot on your brush. If you think, oh shit, I overdid it, I put way too much on there, you can go back and put more purples onto them again. But it's just a little here and there. What was that? Oh, sounded like a gunshot. Don't you, Biggie? So you see how this little bits of light here and there, and it's random, right? It doesn't have to look, you're not wanting it to look like it goes stripes. Like dark shading, light shading, dark shading, light shading. Oh, for God's sakes, I pointed here. I'm not even paying any attention to what you're doing. I just pointed there and figured you've seen it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take dioxazine purple. And it's only going to go a little here and there. So you see this flower here doesn't have any dioxazine purple. But if I take and I softly float a little here and there, just a soft little float, it's almost more of a tint. It brings in some of that purple. I'll put some down here. And it really adds a little brightness to everything. So it's just a little float here and there of dioxazine purple, and it really sharpens up the picture. It just kind of pulls another different purple around. That color doesn't look very good on the screen right now too, compared to what it really looks like.
My goodness.
Just a nice, soft, thin little here and there float of dioxazine purple, and I kind of walk it out. Even on the ones that are the really dark ones, that makes a huge difference. You'll see when you kind of just float a little here and there and walk it out a bit, it really tints it up, really pretty. And I find that this is a really good way if you feel you've overdone it with your white, or well, sand gray. If you feel you've overdone it with that, this color really can calm those down, because you can just bring a little bit of this out over onto that where you've made it too bright. Can you see such a pretty difference with putting a little of that on? It's almost goes on like it's a little bit of a wash, right? Because you're not necessarily floating it in any areas particularly. You just kind of float and wash it out a little bit. I walk it out a bit. And you can, if you feel you need stronger matcha, you can just take and do a little float of matcha in a couple of places on a few leaves. And it's just, don't go everywhere, just, and you might say, no, I'm good. I don't need to do that. I've got it enough. So everybody's going to be different. And you might say, gee, I only need it on 2 leaves, I can see. So, because when we added the matcha, our brush was dirty. So if you did it to a few leaves, maybe the last 1 or 2 leaves you did at a time might not have very much. So if you just add another little float here and there of matcha, that'll pick it up. And then we're going to put out lamp black, and you don't need a lot, and moon yellow.
Did
you put it out?
I've already done the centers.
Good for you.
I know.
Good girl. Did you guys do yours?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you're going to put out lamp black. I'm going to find it. I see the moon yellow that I was going to look for next. Probably on the floor. And green.
I thought it was dots in the center until I looked at the picture properly.
Definitely not dots.
Nope, lines.
I'm looking for black. You are. This is one. Yeah, but this is the guy because I did have a black lid on some weird stuff. I don't know. I do not remember putting it away. So you have your 1/8 rake or comb that we used on our raccoon and we used recently on something else. I don't remember what, but it doesn't matter. So you take that 1 inch, not 1 inch, 1/8 inch and thin it down nice and inky, some black. Now I'm going to take and come up into these top little petals, the 2 top little petals there. And then I come down in the middle and then you come out like almost a starburst. Don't press hard, nice and scratchy. And you put those on. So we're going to go all the way around and do these. Now, if you don't have one of these brushes, you could use a liner, just takes a lot longer.
Oh, goodness.
So once I put all those on,
Would you put one of those brushes aside for me?
Bren, you have it.
I do.
Mhm.
Come on, Brenda.
Okay.
We can put one aside and you can look at it.
Okay.
And then I take moon yellow, just with my liner. And pull in these little, that again looks like somebody said like a sunrise. So see how pretty that looks?
They
And
come alive.
It changes the whole flower. And there's one more thing I want to show you on the flower parts. So I'll just have you look up here for a sec, because this isn't, I don't know if I put this in the notes. I'm taking my 10-0 liner with some sand gray, and I'm just going to go along here and there, not everywhere, but on the odd little where my white is, which is sand gray. I keep calling it white and throwing people off. Just enhancing the edge on a few of
Really
those.
looks gorgeous.
It really makes a difference on your piece. And I don't remember if I have that in the notes. So you might want to add that if it's not.
With the sand gray.
Yeah, and your 10-0 liner or 20-0, whatever liner you have, a nice fine one. And you're just gonna pop, don't completely outline all of your light areas. You just strengthen up 1 or 2 here and there. It really, really makes a difference.
Oh.
So did you put that down, Vicki, that Brenda wants to look at a 1/8? You don't even need to squirt it out. Just open your lid, touch your brush, pick up a bit of water on it, and pat it on the palette and make it a wash. That's how little you're going to need of it. So are you watching here?
Yep.
So I'm just going to dab like this watered down burnt umber. And then I just take my finger and just pat and smudge. And now I've got rust on my pail, and I'll come over and I'll put a little bit of rust on my little shovel as well. So are you eyeballing which one you're liking? For you or less?
So you just need a drop, eh?
Right.
Woo.
Not that much.
Okay, and dib.
Bless you. Thank you.
I said bless you too, but you was muted. I can't find it on my palette anymore. Antique green. And just kind of grab a little tiny bit of antique green and some black brown. And I'm just kind of brush mixing them.
Yeah.
I'm going to dip my brush in some water. And see over here? No, I want a bit more black brown in that. A little darker there. And I'm just going to come in here and dab and smudge like we did with the rust. A little of that. And then I'll go into a little of my black purple as well. And some water. And I'll put in a bit of that. So it's going to look like we've got some leaves in the background. And if you want to make some more pronounced actual press and slide leaves like this, you can too. But just some smudgy, and as it dies down, you'll see a little of that purple tone. So it's just going to give the look that in the background, further back, there's some more flowers, right? Just a tint here and there of those colors. They just kind of fade away back there.
Oh shoot, wrong color.
And we're going to be putting some grass in as well. The hell? Now, we're not even printing anything. I have no idea why that's started up. I'm getting ready. Okay, so watch here. I'm going to take a little black brown and a little bit of antique green, flat chisel brush, and I'm going to pull up a little bit of grass. So I'll pull a few up that way, couple going this way. And then I'll pick up more antique green and put a few more that are a little brighter. And I have some coming from the bottom down here as well. Okay, let me just see if I can press this up without getting it covered and shit. Here we go. So I'm going to put a few coming from here as well. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I got it covered over there. At least I didn't get it on this. So I'll pull a few up coming up in front of the pansies too, from the ground down below. But don't make them all start at the same place down here. This is really important that they're random and that they always, you want to, it's so important to change directions of your grass. I'm now going to pick up a little tiny bit. I'm now going to pick up a little bit of, no, I'm not. I'm going to put out some new matcha grass. This is not working. I'm now going to pick up a little matcha on my dirty brush so that I can put in a few brighter pieces of grass. Not too much. We're not looking to have it screaming green, but you do want a couple of brighter ones. And people will try purposely not to cut in front of a piece of a flower. They don't want to put a grass, but you try not to do that. Put it in front, be bold, gutsy. Put grass in front of your flowers.
Whoa.